This is Gavin Arvizo, hugging his comfort blanket. You may know his comfort blanket as Michael Jackson. On the one hand, this picture looks extremely innocent. On the other hand, the world already suspected Michael Jackson was a PDF, so this picture suddenly looked very suspicious. What we didn't know at the time was Gavin Arvizo had recently recovered from cancer. He hadn't been expected to make it. He had both spleens removed and his left kidney. One of the major problems the Arvizos faced was they lived in America, where cancer treatment was prohibitively expensive. David Arvizo, Gavin's father, took any opportunity he could to contact celebrities in order to garner some kind of financial help. Eventually, Jamie Masada introduced Michael Jackson to young Gavin. Michael Jackson embraced the family, inviting them on holidays to Neverland Ranch as well as giving them financial support. According to Gavin's sister,
they told my parents to plan for his funeral because there was no chance.
They told your parents to plan for
his funeral.
They
told he wasn't going to grow. He wasn't going to be able to have kids.
I got a growth spurt.
He had growth spurts during chemotherapy.
I went from 4'10" to 5'4". See? Medicine don't know it all, do they?
According to the Arvizos, Gavin's survival was attributed to Michael's friendship and support. This handsome gentleman is Martin Bashir. I know he looks like he can't stand the smell of his own top lip. Unfortunately for him, he was born this way. It's just the way he looks. Martin Bashir was the most famous interviewer of the day, having recently manipulated and bullied Princess Diana into giving him an exclusive interview for the BBC. Fresh off of that success, he tricked Michael Jackson into giving him an exclusive interview. Although Michael didn't know it at the time, Martin Bashir was determined to convince the world Michael Jackson really was the paedophile we were told he was. Michael, who saw Gavin Arvizo and his family as a success story, invited them along to be involved in the filming. Being 10 years old, fighting cancer that you're not expected to beat, partly due to financial restraints, then having moral and financial support from the most famous person on the planet may cause you to be a bit affectionate towards that person. Being 13 years old, watching your little brother fighting cancer you expect him not to beat because of financial restraints, and then getting help from the most famous person on the planet may cause you to be a bit affectionate towards that person. And having that same person invite you along to such an important day in their life may express how much they care about you. With no shame or embarrassment, Gavin Arvizo and his older sister wanted the world to know how grateful they were to Michael Jackson to helping Gavin survive cancer. Unfortunately for Michael, we, the viewing public, and Martin Bashir had already decided he has an interest in little boys, so we ignored the affection from the little girl. Because that there fits the narrative. Meanwhile, Martin Bashir, the most famous interviewer in the world, said the most red flag of red flag statements and just passed everybody by. Michael Jackson made the statement, "God knows how much I adore children." Martin Bashir responded to that heartfelt comment with this heinous statement. Isn't that precisely the problem, that when you invite children into your bed, you never know what is going to happen? Like, what the fuck? How did nobody pick up on that? The world ignored that statement because they were hyper-fixated on Michael Jackson, accusing him of all sorts of depraved acts. Calls were made from all over the world to child services, desperate to take Michael's children away from him. This is Colonel Decker. He's obsessed with the A-Team. So obsessed, he's been chasing them for over 10 years. This is District Attorney Tom Sneddon. He's obsessed with Michael Jackson. So obsessed with Michael Jackson, he was chasing him for over 12 years. Having gleefully watched the documentary, Living with Michael Jackson, DA Tom Sneddon knew he was the perfect man for the job to take Michael down. Eventually we end up in court, thanks in no small part to Martin Bashir's documentary. Ironically, Michael Jackson was on trial for abusing Gavin Arvizo after the documentary aired, when the entire world was now watching them. It's almost as if the world's suspicion cultivated an idea in Janet's mind. Gavin Arvizo, himself a child at the time, was actually a victim, but not a victim of Michael Jackson. He was a victim of Martin Bashir. He was a victim of society, the media, the police. He was a victim of his own mother, who saw an opportunity to make money and took it. Jay Leno took the stand as a personality who often made phone calls to sick children. He spoke of his experience with the Arvizos, having called them once. Under oath, Jay Leno said he received numerous voicemails from Gavin Arvizo, who was calling him his hero. Jay said he found it strange as he's not Batman. During these voice messages, Jay Leno said he could hear a voice he assumed to be Janet Arvizo coaching Gavin on what to say. Despite a diligent, intensive, and some may say obsessive, investigation carried out by DA Tom Sneddon over a period of 12 years, Michael Jackson was found not guilty. Jurors cited a lack of evidence, hostility from Janet Arvizo, and previous fraud cases committed by the Arvizos. Despite being found not guilty, many Michael Jackson doubters still refuse to believe his innocence. But Gavin Arvizo, like many other children we pretend to care about, disappeared from public consciousness. And how did Janet Arvizo cope with the news of knowing that the man she accused of abusing her child would get away scot-free? A few months after the trial, she remarried, so I guess there is a happy ever after. Her new married name became Janet Jackson.